It's looking like gyms in the UK are not going to be open for at least another month and a half, but potentially longer than that, which is, you know, less than ideal, mate, innit, when you think about it. Like, ideal is about there. Current situation is distinctly below. Less than sign, less than ideal. It's not great. However, summer is on our doorstep and I do not plan on breaking tradition, mate, because I've got shredded like every summer since I was about 7, mate. I mean, maybe 8 or 9, but you know, for a long time, put it that way. And I don't feel like this year should be any different, you know, just because there's a fucking killer disease out there, you know. I'm getting shredded, man. I got priorities, you know what I mean? So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be how I'm going to do it, and therefore how you can do it also without a gym, if you so choose. Obviously, you have free will, that you are free to exercise, but I mean, you should be a lad and choose. Like, everyone should get shredded. It's just summer. Let's all just do it, mate. Now, of course, the principles of fat loss and muscle gain remain the same as ever, regardless of the situation. These fundamentals are impervious to the effects of the corona. Maintain a caloric deficit, consume sufficient micronutrients, protein and fat to sustain healthy bodily function and retain muscle. Continue to train as if trying to gain muscle with sufficient volume, frequency and intensity. Always aim to apply progressive overload and get enough sleep, rest and recovery. It sounds pretty simple, right? And that is because it actually is. That's the secret that personal trainers don't want you to know. Revealed, it's all dead simple, basic, easy, fundamentals, mate, all the way through. However, without the gym, there may be some obstacles that arise that we need to, what do you do with an obstacle? Get over it, mate. Go around it, under it, through it. Deal with the obstacle, mate. Those obstacles are as follows. No gym means no cardio machines, which might be a bit of a ball ache if you're used to, you know, getting on the stepper every day or the treadmill. No gym also means no weights / resistance or limited to what you have at home. No strict routine with boundaries between rest and training. More temptation with food, being sat at home all day within arm's length of the Cocoa Pops. More potential for monotony and boredom and general half-assed sessions due to having a very limited exercise selection. Now, I'm not saying that getting shredded without the gym is going to be as easy as it would with the gym. 1,000. Or that it'll be quite the same end result. If there's a parallel universe out there where another version of me is doing a cut but with the use of a gym, I think that Joe might end up with a few grams more muscle mass at the end of it all. But I think if we're meticulous about it, you know, if we cross the T's and dot the I's, then we can get pretty close. Like, so the difference is almost imperceptible to the human eye. I'm gonna stop doing pretend bicep curls. I don't know why I'm doing them anyway, but what I'm saying is, I don't think we have to aim low with this. You know, I'm not going for the I got shredded without using a gym look, you know what I mean? Not going for the dabbles in the bi-weekly game of frisbee physique, you know what I mean? I'm going for the used to believe that he's natty, but seems like he wouldn't lie. Think he's a good guy, but now I'm on the edge about it. Look, if that makes sense. Point is, what I'm saying is, like, you know, we can do it, mate. We're gonna do it. Anyway, that was me pep talk, so I'll just get on with it. This is how we're gonna do it. Firstly, I'll be cutting in a shallow deficit. One concern for people cutting without the gym is that they think they're going to lose all their gains. And whilst that is a legit concern, it's going to be much more dependent on the training that you're able to keep up. Whole use it or lose it applies here. However, one thing we can do is just make sure that calories aren't too low. If your training is adequate, there's definitely a safe deficit where you're going to lose close to 0 muscle mass. Beyond that safe zone, the size of the deficit is probably proportional to how much muscle mass you're going to lose. Personally, I'm going to stick with a 400 to 500 calorie deficit maximum just to be safe. I'm also going to introduce some routine into my diet with a kind of half meal plan approach. Breakfast will be the same every day, then some freedom with lunch and snacks throughout the day, then finishing the day with 1 of 3 different meals or snacks. That's going to be porridge oats, bagel and peanut butter, or low-cal ice cream. If I ever go over my calories, it all tends to happen with late night snacking, so having some foods that I mentally associate with drawing a line under my calories for the day definitely helps me to stick to things. I'm going with 1 refeed / higher carb day, roughly every 10 or so days. I still want to have the freedom to cook some good shit and order some good food in once in a while, and so this is going to allow me to do that. I'll probably go up to around maintenance calories or maybe just above on these days. I'm going to try and keep protein and fat to normal levels and just increase carbs if possible. I'll be hitting a minimum of 10k steps a day. My general activity is probably a little bit lower than it was before lockdown, so in an effort to negate that, I'm going to try and make a conscious effort to keep my steps up. I'm just going to listen to audiobooks and get those steps in. Also feel like 10k is a proper nice round number. I'm going to schedule my days to give me a bit more of a barrier between work, leisure and training. I think being at home all day can make it more difficult to get fully into your training sessions. Usually you have that journey between home or between work and the gym that mentally prepares you and gets you in the zone for the session that you're about to hit. But if you're at home all day, you're going from playing FIFA 1 second to lifting weights the next second. I just don't think that's very conducive to having good training sessions, because it's difficult to just flip straight into training mode from chilling the fuck out mode. Having a routine will definitely help this, so I will be training the same time every day, and I'm going to call that between 6 and 8 p.m. How to approach progression can be a bit of a conundrum. Of course, I'll be looking to add weight to any exercises that I can, as I normally would in the gym, and then only once I've maxed out on the weight / resistance I have available will I then start adding reps. Now, it's unlikely you'll be able to increase your weight by such small increments as you will be able to in the gym, so you might need to take a kind of stepped approach. For example, I can either do dips or dips with a 25 kilogram weight vest. Now obviously that's quite a jump to make. So initially I'd start by adding reps, and then once my body weight sets are up to 15 to 20 kind of rep range, and that's what I'm able to perform consistently, I would then move to low rep sets with body weight plus the weight vest. It does take a bit of imagination, but I've found a workaround for pretty much all exercises to make them heavy enough. I've been through my training at home routine in a video which I will link below, but I'm also waiting on some dumbbells to arrive, and I might even get a bench. So when I have those, I will be doing an updated routine, and I'll include some of the new exercises I've been discovering and finding useful. On that note, if you can get your hands on some dumbbells or some equipment to train at home, I do think it's worth it. Even if it's just a few bands or 1 set of dumbbells, it will vastly increase the amount of exercises you're able to do. I know dumbbells on eBay got expensive these days, but we don't have any idea how long gyms are going to be closed for, and so it's kind of an investment in yourself, innit, mate? I'll be doing my cardio outside. There isn't really much to say about that. It's just the same, innit? Except instead of watching a video whilst being on the treadmill, I will listen to an audio book. Now, dealing with monotony in training can definitely be an issue when you are stuck just training at home. Part of this is just about having enough of an exercise library to choose from, which obviously relates back to the equipment you have available. Even just 1 band massively increases the range of exercises you're able to do. I recently managed to get my hands on some 8 kilogram dumbbells, and I feel like it has opened up a world of opportunities. Now, I've never struggled too much with getting bored during my workouts, but if this is an issue, then maybe you are someone who shouldn't be sticking to too much of a rigid routine. I would always advise on keeping your main compounds the same, but the chances are you don't really have much choice when you're training at home because your exercise selection is lower than usual. For example, my overhead press pretty much has to be handstand push-ups if I'm going to use any meaningful amount of weight, so I can't really change those. But what I can change is my isolation exercises, so my bicep, my tricep isolations, even my lateral raises and things like that. I've got options with them, and if you're someone who gets bored, I would encourage you to mix things up. Those exercises are really just insignificant compared to your compounds, provided you do them in some form. An isolation is essentially an isolation, and if you want to interchange that for the sake of staying interested and enjoying your workouts more, then that is 100% worth it. And aside from that, you just need a bit of an attitude of just getting on with it. It won't be forever. You're not a 7-year-old that needs entertaining all the time, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a bit bored, what are you gonna do? Ditch it, like, you know. So this isn't really an insightful tip, but, you know, just get on with it, innit? I'm also going to be making an effort to keep on top of my supplement regimen. I know that keeping up with your creatine might not exactly be on the forefront of everyone's mind right now, but that and everything else is still going to be just as beneficial as it ever was, provided you're training. I also think that when you start letting parts of your routine slip, it can lead to a bit of a downward spiral. So anyway, this is what I'm taking. Most of it is generally geared towards more health and well-being, but that certainly underpins performance and recovery anyway. As ever, I'm going to be weighing myself every every single day. I know the more accurate I am with tracking my weight, i.e. every day, the more accountable I am and the better I will stick to things. Same goes for tracking every single calorie. I'm somebody that if I don't track something small, it will lead to not tracking more, and then eventually it will just be one not very accountable Joey D. Alright people, that is pretty much the plan. I hope you all found it helpful, and I hope you're going to join me on this valiant quest for low body fat in summer 2020, because we've got to fulfill our destinies, our joint destinies, to just be shredded dudes, haven't we? So that's it. See you later. I'm going to hang out in the comments of this video for a little bit, so if you have questions, hit me up. I will get back to you, or I'll try anyway. Actually, saying I'll try is probably a bit weak. I will get back to you. See you later.
Joey Lenny is my hero.